All right. Welcome again, everyone. This is the electrical engineering webinar. Um, the electrical engineering program at UC Merced is special because it is a new program, but not so new anymore. We accepted our first set of students in fall 2023. That's 3 years ago. Um, and we'll graduate our first cohort in spring 2027. So that's 4 years. Will be completed next spring. And so our first batch of students will be graduating. We are steadily growing. As you can see from the numbers, we started out with around 47 students, and then we went to similar number, and then it went to 65. And then fall 2026, we have around 75, around 80 students. So we're steadily growing major. Electrical engineering is, as you know, one of those core engineering degrees that are pretty prominent and has existed for hundreds of years. So what I will do here for the next few minutes is to talk about what is new and how we have structured the electrical engineering program at UC Merced. As you can see, as a hint of what I will talk about from the pictures on the right, we are really into hands-on. We introduce circuits and hands-on learning right from the very first semester. And to give you more of a flavor, I will do that to take you together with how the curriculum is set up, along with the key courses that you might look forward to as an electrical engineering major. So in the first year, other than the math and the physics and the chemistry, that's the usual um, education that every engineering student goes through. Other than that, we have introduced this course called EO1, which is the Electrical Engineering Introduction. Now, you might wonder, these are, again, it's common to have these courses. The introduction course is also common, but the new thing that we have done is we realized that we don't want our students to just be doing all the boring math and the physics and all the other things. We want students to, if you've chosen electrical engineering, then you've chosen electrical engineering for some reason, and that reason is you want to work with electrical things. And so in this course, students, as you can see on the picture on the right, use solar cells to measure voltages and currents that the solar cell can generate when it's sunny out. And that's an advantage of being in California and especially being in the Central Valley, that we have lots of sun. So the first semester of students spent understanding all the things, the broader world of electrical engineering, and uh, doing hands-on work with solar cells, measuring voltages and currents using multimeters, and learning about how solar cell functions. So that's the very first semester. Then in the second semester of the first year, we move on to little bit more of the hands-on stuff. So this is EO1, the course that I already talked about, where students are, as you can see again, taking data on the solar cell. In the picture on the bottom left, there's a solar cell there pointing towards the sun. This is the very first course. Then we build on this in the second semester, where, excuse me, we have designed a entirely new course called EE005. This is called Designing and Building Electrical Engineering Systems. This is, again, nestled in together with all the other courses that are math and physics courses. Those are the requirements for any engineering degree. But again, we have this one EE course that is the fun hands-on course, hopefully, for our students, where they can build something for fun and build something electrical and automate something while also learning about the theoretical details. So EO5 happens in the spring. It's a course that is ongoing right now. I'm teaching that course this semester for our students, and it's a very exciting and fun course for me to teach and also for students to take, because we do a lot of interesting things. And I'll show you a snapshot of what we do in this course. In this EO5 course, students work on independent projects for their midterm. So the picture in the center that you see, that's the picture of every student's different projects that were presented to the rest of the class. So you can see some of them build an LCD display, some of them have a sonar sensor, a speaker, some of them have a GPS. So there's a large variety of things that we put together. And well, the students do all of the work. We guide them to complete these projects in 3 or 4 weeks. So students really get a flavor of what electrical engineering is all about. Then towards the end, we end with a competition style final exam. And there's a video that I'll show that's the final exam in this course where every student team comes together, works for 4 to 5 weeks together to build a robot that can follow a lane plotted on the floor. The video is for a basic track. Most teams are able to complete that. There is also an advanced track, so we also challenge our students, and that advanced track has lots of turns that are difficult to navigate, and we're always challenging every year's new batch of students to beat the previous year's batch of students. So, like for example, last year, out of 15 teams, I think 8 or 9 teams probably were able to complete the advanced track. Basic track, everyone is able to complete. And so when you join our program, that will be a number that you will have to beat. So I'm positive that you'll be able to do it. So the basic track has a robot that follows, and you can see the video where it is looking at the black line and detecting where the black line is on the floor. And then based on those measurements, it's driving the motor that's running the whole chassis. And the students have designed everything from scratch. So even the 3D printing, we have a fantastic makerspace, the engineering makerspace here, where they do all the soldering, the 3D printing, and connect everything together. So it's all from scratch. And all the circuits are also from scratch. So it's a really fun experience in the second course. Then we move on to the third year, which is the upper division, where we have electronic design. Now we get into the real theoretical aspects of electrical engineering. So we have electronic design, signal processing, control systems. These are all the courses that students take in the third year. And in the fourth year, then they continue on to take more advanced electives. Here's a quick snapshot of who is in the electrical engineering faculty. Right now we have 7 faculty in total, 7 faculty members, and there's another lecturer who's part of our faculty as well. Some of these our names are listed here. I will not read through everything here, but this is just to give you an overview of the kinds of research that our faculty are doing. So Eric Cheng has more than 30 years of experience in electric vehicles, and he has designed many kinds of vessels and hydrogen-powered buses and many other cars and vehicles. So he's part of our faculty. Sarah Kurtz, also very experienced in renewable energy and solar cells, solar industry is her expertise. She's our department chair here for the program. Changqing Li is on the biomedical instrumentation side. So electrical engineering has many applications in developing sensing for biological things, so like X-ray imaging and CT scans and so on. So he's an expert in that. On the leftmost side, you see my picture. That's me. I am interested in control theory and design of, so you can think of how do we control robots and how do we control these physical systems. So there's a field that's the thing that I'm interested in addition to how we work with AI in our education. That's another thing that I'm interested in. Mukesh Singhal is a senior faculty member. He's interested in cybersecurity, cloud computing. Chin Wong is also a faculty member who's interested in similar areas, but specifically quantum computing and how we can design hardware that has quantum computing level security. And she has a lot of experience from Intel, where she was earlier before joining UC Merced. And finally, we have our newest faculty member, Shafan Yu. She has joined us from UC San Diego, and her interests are in hardware, microcontroller chips, and how to develop edge devices that are controlling the hardware and the software together. So that's an overview of the program, the courses, and the faculty in the department. And as I promised, around 10 to 15 minutes of the overview. And now we will transition into the student panel. So for the student panel, we have 2 current students. So I would like them to unmute their or show their videos so that we can get started with the panel. And I'll ask Raul first to introduce yourself, and then Miriam, you introduce yourself, and then we'll transition into the panel questions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raul Vargas. I'm a third year here at UC Merced. I'm gonna be part of the first graduating cohort here. Um, and yeah, I grew up around the Central Valley, and I'm excited to tell you guys more about the program.
Miriam?
Hello. Hello. My name is Miriam. I'm also a third year, so I will also be uh, graduating 2027. Yeah, and I'm pretty excited to tell you guys about what I do and what I'm doing this semester.
All right, great. So we have our two panelists who are both electrical engineering majors. My first question is to Raul. Raul, would you share your journey so far at UC Merced? So any details about where you come from, any activities that you've been involved on campus and like clubs or jobs, and what kind of career do you aspire to be in?
Of course. Like I said, I grew up around the Central Valley, and I didn't have that much experience in electrical engineering. But when I came to UC Merced, Um, and at first I was a CS major, but ended up transferring to the EE program. So I don't have as much experience with the first and second year classes. But everything I've had from this last year has been amazing. A few of the things I've been working with, I actually work with Professor Ayush here to redesign our EE program. That's been really involved in interviewing students and getting their perspective to see how we can improve our courses. I'm also doing research with Professor Yu. Right now, we're working with embedded systems to uh, have a muscle sensor, and we're working with microcontrollers like an ESP32, and that's been really fun. And then, uh, yeah, and then it's been great. I love UC Merced so far.
All right, thank you, Raul. Same question for you, Miriam. If you could share your journey so far and any details about your background, things that you've been involved in on campus, and what career you aspire to be in.
So this semester, well, I'm also from the Central Valley. This semester, I have been very involved. I've done the most from all the previous semesters. When I first got here, I honestly didn't really do much. But this is where I finally started. So this semester I am doing, well, I started last semester as well, started doing research on 2D material. So I'm doing research on 2D material called gallium sulfide selenide alloys and studying their optoelectronic properties with the goal of maybe possibly fabricating a photodetector. I'm I usually do this work in the clean room. So UC Merced has a clean room where device fabrication occurs. It's really nice. It's really fun to work with the lab equipment. I'm also doing research through Vision Prem, which is another program where students can gain research and have mentorship. So that's doing quantum dots. I just started that this semester, so I don't really understand, but overall, it's the goal to try to understand them and try to control them. I also work for Professor Ayush. I am a grader for EEO5. So I can tell you guys a lot of students really do enjoy that class. I read and I look at the slides and I watch the videos, and a lot of them are very excited with their projects. And yeah, that's what I've been doing this.
Perfect. And I think it's an opportune moment to add that both Raul and Miriam talked about how they're involved in research. That's not a coincidence at all, or it's not that I selected these students because they're involved in research. I think that's a unique quality of UC Merced that we have the highest number of students or highest percentage of students involved in research out of all UC campuses across the system, across the UC system at UC Merced. I think the number is like around 40% or 35% to 40% of undergrad students get involved in research, which is really something that is fantastic for the students, but also from the faculty side, I see students always who are interested in research, and that's really good environment that we have got here for undergrad professional development and skill development. The second question, I'll start with you, Miriam. As an EE major, could you name one most favorite academic activity so far for you at UC Merced? It could be from your course or from your clubs or a friend group or your study group or any other activity. What has been the most favorite for you?
I think I really enjoy the friend group because the EE community is still very small. We kind of all know each other or know of each other. So we all talk to each other, and it's really nice, especially when it comes to like exams or quizzes. We all help each other out. And I think that's my favorite part because you're not really alone. If you struggle in the class, then you have another student explaining it to you. Sometimes it helps a lot more. So I think that's my favorite part. I was a little involved with IEEE. IEEE is also really nice. They have a couple projects going on, but I don't have as much time to be involved this semester. But it's pretty cool.
Perfect. Raul, do you want to share what's your favorite part about being any academic activity that's your favorite? Of course, you might have fun things that you do for non-academic things, but could you share what's your favorite academic activity with us?
Of course. So I think my favorite activity is at the start of your education, you learn a lot of theory and you don't really know what it's used for. But once you get to like an upper div, like a class I just took was signal processing here on campus, EE 105. And we began to learn about like convolution or some theoretical stuff like that. I'm not going to get into it, but uh, basically it's like the theory behind, and we got an example in our class, like using code to like get a guitar sound and change it into like a different sound. And it's basically like a virtual guitar pedal. And it's really interesting seeing that like actually work through code and understanding what's going on. And I think the moments it clicks, like why we learn this is like my favorite part. And it happens in every class, not just that one. Like I'm also taking digital communications and seeing how we use Fourier transform, another technique we learned to break down signals and send them. And I think that's my favorite part.
Perfect. Thank you both for sharing. Um, we've talked a lot about how our program is emphasizing hands-on learning. So I want to ask our panelists if you could share something that you've built then that you would call a hands-on project or it could be part of a club or part of a class that you built at UC Merced so far. So Raul, do you want to share
Of
first?
course. So I am part of the FSAE club, which is a club to build like a basically a race car, and then we're gonna race it. And this year we're doing an electric car, and so I was part of the team to design and build like an accumulator, which is just like a holder for like a bunch of little battery cells to get a lot of voltage. And we're working with voltage that's over 400. And just to put that into perspective, a Tesla has 300 volts in its battery. So it's just crazy to think about like we're putting these skills to use.
Wow, that's great. Miriam, do you want to share something that you've built so far at UC Merced?
Yes, so last semester, like I said, I was a little bit involved with IEEE, and they have a micro mouse project. And through there, we kind of started building a PCP or designing a PCP board to actually make the micro mouse run. I didn't get to finish it, but through research, I'm also building a setup for to help to levitate a nanodiamond particle using lasers. So that's really cool. That kind of relates a lot to EE semiconductors, where you kind of learn about material properties and like the wavelengths. Mhm.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I just want to mention that we will come to the audience for their questions soon. I just have one last question, and that question is if you could give one advice to students who are thinking of joining UC Merced or the EE program, what would that one advice be, Miriam?
I would definitely say to start to get to know the professors and the faculty. I think as a first year, I was very intimidated. And when, like EEO1, they had opportunities to meet faculties, Professor Sarah would always be like, oh, here are the faculties, come and talk to them. And I wouldn't. But once you get to know the EU faculty, it's a lot easier to talk to the professors or like go to office hours, ask questions. But not only that, like a lot of professors do research, and if you ever want to get involved, you can always email them and you can get jobs. So my job, I got it because I talked to Ayush.
Yeah. Raul, do you want to share what is that one piece of advice that you would give to prospective students?
You already touched on it a bit, but I was going to mention it too, that how easy it is to get research because UC Merced was originally just a graduate school, but it expanded to have an undergrad program. Um, so a lot of professors are looking for undergrad students to help. And honestly, it's not just that. Uh, UC Merced, even though it's a new school, it has a lot of opportunities. And my advice would be like, if you come here and you look for it, you will find something you like, something to do, something to be involved with.
All right, that's great. Thank you both, Raul and Miriam. And we'll continue to answer some questions, but now they will be audience questions.
Hi, folks. Once a quick introduction. My name is Aaron Garcia, Assistant Director of First Year Recruitment. I'm just here in the background to let these individuals shine. So, one of the questions in the chat is, can you speak a little more about the Spark seminar?
Sure. I could take this one. Spark Seminar is part of the general education requirements or courses that our students take. I don't know specifically what you wanted to learn about them, but I could tell you that we are currently in the process of revisiting how we do the Spark seminars or other related things that train students in broader aspects of engineering, the socio-technical aspects of engineering. So Spark seminars are very much into like how does engineering affect the society and how does society affect engineering. So those aspects are important to learn. And currently the School of Engineering is revisiting. That's the, I guess, the internal information that I can give to you. So things might change in the future because we are looking at it very closely on how do we design these courses so that they're the most effective for the students and the students can learn a lot and also apply that knowledge to their internships or other places. So, but if you have a follow-up, I would welcome any follow-up that you might have on that question.
That's a really good answer, Ayush. And that also tells you how just the engineering program is growing also, right? Like it's always developing new courses, new ideas. So this has an opportunity for, you students out there to be a part of something new or to help maybe even develop something. So I think that will give you a lot of great opportunities. Um, the next question, what sort of, and I don't know if you guys can correct me, RF classes / opportunities does Merced offer? I don't know what RF.
Yeah, now I will let one of the students pick this question up. Are you in digital communications, Raul? I think you are in digital communications, right? Do you want to talk about how that course is going? Because I think that might answer this question. And you also have friends who are working in RF related things, right? So you might touch on that.
Well, yeah, I'm in a digital communications class, and so that class is all about radio frequencies. Um, yeah, we just learned the basics of communication and using uh radio frequencies to send signals, and then how we use RF signals to encode like our data, like zeros and ones. Um, and then we also learn about how to like correct errors with RF signals because when you send something over the air, there's going to be interference from other things. So and also I'm in my capstone, which is basically our last year's project, and stuff like this comes up there was a capstone project about creating an RF device. Um, so that's another good thing that I like about UC Merced is they give us a capstone and a lot of different options for working with these things in like a real setting. And there are a lot of broad topics, and RF was one of the main ones.
Thank you, Raul.
Awesome, thank you. What are current research happening in the electrical engineering department?
Yeah, I could take this one. I can show you to again. Well, this presentation will be recorded first of all, but so you can take a look at the posted video later. But I will use this slide to review the kind of research that is happening in the department. You can see from the topics listed on this slide and the next slide for the various research topics. So Eric Cheng, power electronics, power systems, electric vehicles. Sarah Kurtz, she's interested in solar cells, renewable energy, and improving the sustainability and the energy, meeting the energy demand of California. Changqing Li is working on biomedical imaging. So how do we design imaging devices and using also computational methods, but also actual hardware development for those imaging. I am interested in control systems design for AI models and also for application in various cyber physical systems. Mukesh Singhal is interested in cybersecurity and AI. That's his interest. Qian Wang is interested in quantum computing and how does that interact with hardware, and Shifan Yu on edge computing. So you see a wide variety of research all the way from material science and semiconductor devices and renewable energy to power systems, power electronics, to a lot of AI research for the two of the faculty, and then a lot of hardware and software interaction, and that research is also going on. So I invite you to visit our website to read all of our web pages for more.
Thank you, Ayush. And for those of you who might not know, Merced is a tier one R1 research institution and a nationally ranked research institution. So, we do some of the best research on campus, and we have some of the best researchers on campus. So, that's very awesome, Ayush. Um, I've gotten this question a lot, and this is probably another question for you, Ayush. Is UC Merced 8-bit accredited? Is it an 8-bit accredited program?
Yes, great question. So the answer is that ABET accreditation is possible after a program has graduated their first set of students and then have had their outcomes be measured. So after a program starts, realistically, an ABET accreditation is only possible to get 6 years from then. We started in 2023, so we are definitely planning on getting ABET accredited. We are confident that we will be ABET accredited because well, not all, but mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and computer science and engineering, all three of the related programs to electrical engineering are ABET accredited. And so we are in the same university. Our ABET accreditation teams are the same. So we are certainly planning on applying for ABET accreditation as soon as we can because we are going to graduate our first set of students next year. And so the following year, we will apply for accreditation.
So that means those who are attending this virtual presentation, by the time you graduate with electrical engineering, you guys will be AB accredited.
And I will add that ABET allows retrospective application of ABET accreditation. So even the students who are here on the panel later on, when we are ABET accredited, I think we found this out that they can also then have their degrees count towards if they go for professional licensing and so on, and they can get the benefits that you get from graduating from an ABET accredited program.
Awesome, thank you. So this is a question for the student electrical engineers. Are you guys general electric engineer majors, or do you guys have an emphasis that you guys are focusing on? And if you do, how are the emphasis course? How's the emphasis course?
I'll go ahead and take a first answer. So I am just a general EE major, but I have taken a lot of the computer engineering emphasis course because I did start as a CS major, and I still like it. And uh, even though I'm not the emphasis, I have taken the courses, and the courses are just like one of the courses, for example, was Introduction to Robotics, and it was more of a mixture of coding and hardware since it's computer engineering side. And it's just to like give you knowledge on different subjects because in reality, EE gives you the base you need, and then the emphasis just give you like another area to study because all engineering is virtually using the same skills. You just learn different tools. And in that, we learn different things like real-time operating systems and tools like robot operating system. And yeah, I mean, it's really similar to the E general courses.
Awesome. Miriam?
I also don't have an emphasis. I was thinking to add one in sustainability since that's what I originally came in here for. But I think overall I want to focus on device fabrication. So I've been focusing more on my research.
Awesome. Thank you. This is another question for the student panel. How are the electrical engineering labs? Like, what are the lab times? I mean, how often do you get to work outside the class? Do you have access to to these labs, and how are they? Are they complex? Give us they want to know some insight.
So the I guess the first lab where you get really hands-on is circuit theory. Well, when I first started, was circuit theory. And it is a lot of hands-on. It's building simple circuits. Then it starts to get more complex when you go into 101 or 111. Usually it helps because we do a simulation and then you actually go and build the circuit. And the TAs, well, my TA is really, really awesome. He always answers questions. He's constantly helping us, and he gives examples if we ever have any questions on what we do. For circuit theory, which is engineering 65, you do get a little kit. So you will get like a breadboard, wires, resistors, and a multimeter.
Raul?
Yeah, I'll talk a little more about how they work. I would say a little less than half of the E courses have a lab included, and those labs are around 2 to 3 hours each time. And yeah, we do a lot in them. We use I had never heard of this before the E, and this is what really interested me too was oscilloscopes and waveform generators. So the labs are really equipped with a lot of equipment. Um, like Miriam said, they do provide a lot of stuff too. I was really surprised when they gave us our own multimeter to keep even after, and I've used it a lot since. But yeah, you for sure get a lot of lab time, and you get to practice a lot of building circuit skills.
Awesome. Thank you, Raul and Miriam. Another question. Are there study groups or mentoring programs or peer support networks for electrical engineering? And are there common obstacles that new students face?
So
And and how can you prepare?
yeah, I will take the second part of this question, and then I think Miriam and Raul can also add on to this. Something new and unique that our program is doing is making use of learning assistants. And I will actually send a link on chat to everyone so that you can read in detail. This is assistants are near peers who have recently finished a course, and we hire them to and we pay them for their time to be in the classroom with the professor while the classes are being taught, so that the learning assistants can help each student more actively, because the professor cannot help everyone in there, right? So this is something that so far, out of all of School of Engineering, only electrical engineering is doing this. And it's super helpful. I talk to students all the time, and Miriam, is one of the student employees. She's not a learning assistant, but she's part of the course where we have 3 learning assistants, and the student to tutor ratio then becomes so much better because in a class, I have this class of 80 students, and if I'm the only one in that classroom, I can't help 80 students realistically. But now, with 3 learning assistants, we are 4 of us in that same classroom. And so we're essentially, for every student, for every 20 students, there is one person there to help them out. So that's the local, I guess, PE specific tutoring and helping students, especially in the first and the second year, we use this. And then I think Miriam can touch on this and Raul as well on the study groups that you all have formed for your upper division classes that you're organizing sessions where you study and finish the homework. Do you want to add something, Miriam?
Sorry. Yeah, so I think we do have a Discord for upper division classes, and usually everyone like I kid you not, all EE majors are in there, all upper divisions. We're always talking to each other, even if we can't be in person. Someone can send a question and someone else will help. And if you ever want to do a study group, like they will ask, oh, is anyone available at this time? Or how, even during classes, is how we organize ourselves. And I think everyone also kind of has their little friend group, but overall, we do help each other, especially when we have questions in labs and assignments.
Yeah, and professors are not allowed on that Discord. So that's a student-led study groups. I can't find the question there which had this, but I want to answer a question that has been asked multiple times, and that's related to internship opportunities, because I've seen this question come up now 3 or 4 times now. So first of all, I will add that our students, well, and this also goes to another question that was being asked about what are the scope of electrical engineers in today's world. And it's pretty clear that electrical engineering is that major or is that degree program that sits right in the middle of it's not fully software, it's not just doing mechanical things, but it's very much I've been in electrical engineering programs for more than 10 years now, and I always see electrical engineering as the jack of all trades, where you can really have so many different career options if you are someone who's interested in software but are scared of the AI boom. Electrical engineering is the perfect place to be because you can still learn all the AI stuff while also being grounded in the hardware. So, for example, NVIDIA is the biggest benefactor or like biggest company that has earned a lot with their business and the AI boom, right? So underlying NVIDIA is hardware chips that are the things that sell. Similarly, or if you are someone who's interested in more hands-on robots and other types of things, then again, as an electrical engineer, you learn all of the theoretical things, and then you can easily interact and integrate yourself in mechanical engineering style of your of career. So there's a lot of variety and diversity that is possible for electrical engineers, and that's my personal favorite thing about electrical engineering, that it's not just one thing. It's not about connecting circuits. It's not about only measuring voltages. As you already heard, Miriam was talking about quantum computing. Raul was talking about RF communication. So there's so much variety. Now, having said all of that, coming back to the internship question, we have had students go and get internships in various companies. So some of them have gotten internships at Honeywell, which is very much an electrical engineering type of company. Others have gone into Toyota research, and I guess there's people who have gone into local electrical engineering related industry, which is the Merced irrigation district, where that powers the Merced electricity power lines and so on. So the students do get those internships through the the career center or their clubs or visiting conferences. At the program level, we organize various events that connect these students to find these internships. And we also organize social events where junior students can connect to senior students, first year students can connect to other junior and senior year students so that they can continue on that network of how their senior students got internships, right? Now, another thing that I will add there is for first year students, because this was another question that someone was asking, how can someone get an internship in the first year? And one of the things that is possible is to start working together with the faculty member, together with the professor in their lab, so that you get used to the field, do you get used to the actual things that people are working on or people are interested in. The way it usually works is you start by volunteering in a professor's lab, but then if you do good, the professor might hire you as a summer intern even after your first year. So that's where the journey can start. And so then that goes on your CV that you were an intern in some kind of research project. And then from there, you apply to other internship programs. So then they see the skill set that you've already developed in addition to the courses that you've taken. And that can happen through professors' research funds or through the undergraduate research opportunities program that we have on our campus. It's a very well-funded and a large program where a lot of UC Merced students, it's a competitive program to get into, but it's a program that prepares students with research internships so that students right from first year, second year, all of those year students can apply to this UROC program and get into it so that they get internships for the summer in their first and second year, and then they can apply for other industrial internships.
Thank you. Oh,
sorry, one more thing. Someone asked about the connection to industries, and yes, we are definitely building a lot of those connections. And through the capstone program, which Raul mentioned earlier, we already have a great network of industrial connections who give. So capstone is the final course where industry clients, and one of the unique, or not unique, but something that I like about our capstone program is all projects are external projects. We don't just give internal projects so we really actually connect students to the industry in their final capstone course. And so those are the industry connections that already exist, and students get internships through when they start working for some client on their capstone, and then they get connected to the industry automatically. So like for now, this semester I'm teaching a capstone class. This is the thing that we are doing on a weekly basis right now. We're connecting almost like 40 or 50 students to different industry partners actively so that then in the future they can get internships there.
yeah, thank you for that, Ayush. And what it seems like you're saying is that since the cohort is very small right now, you're always having those interactions with your professors, right? They're just right there, just a hand reach apart, and that's how you get those connections. They work closely with you. They get to know you. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses, and can able to share your skills to all the companies out there that you guys are working with. That's awesome. That's really cool. This is an interesting student question, and this is for Raul and Miriam. Why the electrical engineering program at UC Merced, and why UC Merced?
Can go first for this one. I really wanted to go to a local school because I feel like in my community, it's an education desert, I would say. There's not a lot of higher education in the Central Valley, and this is the first UC in the Central Valley, and I wanted to be a part of building up the Central Valley and its education by becoming an electrical engineer here and staying here and being able to work and improve the communities around us because one of the biggest things about UC Merced is that it is a sustainable school. All around the campus, every building you see solar panels, it's very green. Um, and I like the social impact of UC Merced too. So that's why I decided to choose to come here.
Miriam?
Yeah, so like Raul mentioned, it is big on sustainability, and that's what really drew me into electrical engineering. I wanted to focus first on sustainability. I think the scenery is also really nice here. The sunsets are really nice. It's really nice during spring. It's it's really nice to go from like you're in the classroom or you're in lab and then you can go outside and it's just like there's a lot of ducks, there's birds, there's a lot of frogs here too. So there's like this little pond and it's really nice. You can go sit there. And a lot of students, and I've seen a lot of people from the UC go and hang out outside, sit outside. It's really nice.
Awesome, thank you. Ayush, I got a question. What are the opportunities like for transfer students?
Yeah, that's a great question. Transfer students have started to join our program, and so far, our experience has been that they are able to transition in well because the key course that the transfer students can take in community colleges is the circuit theory course, and that circuit theory course is a prerequisite for a lot of our upper division. And we have been working hard to make sure that that circuit theory course is standardized and something that students can take outside and still come in with the same similar set of knowledge that can help them succeed in the upper division courses. On a lighter note, I will also add, I mean, as a student, you would know that the retention of information is not that strong anyway, right? So for transfer students or for students who are here, when we are in classrooms, when I'm teaching an upper division class, and when I say in my classroom, so you remember 2 years ago you learned this mathematical formula, and then everyone's looking at me with confused faces, which is common. What I'm trying to say is we don't, so we do our best to then review that material and try to remind the students of where they might have seen this type of thing. So through those that style of teaching, then that transition hopefully becomes easier. And so far, I guess to your specific question, I have not heard specifically if any transfer students have struggled. But I'm happy to hear from Raul or Miriam because they are also in touch with some transfer students. And if they are hearing anything, or if you have any advice for any transfer students coming in, feel free to add.
Yes, so I have two friends who transferred from community college, and one of them, he's doing really well. I know he's doing research with one of the EE faculties, and he just transferred last semester, so it's still possible to get into different research. My other friend, she has been adjusting well too. I think it's because it's very easy to get in touch with professors and like go to office hours and get that extra help if you need it. So overall, I think they're doing really, really well. They say that they have a good support system. And if you're transferring, I would recommend to really look at the degree plan just to make sure that you're on track or you have certain classes that are required for upper divisions. I think that would make it a lot easier, especially when selecting classes. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing I would say. The people Miriam was talking about was the two transfer students I know too, and they're adjusting well.
Awesome. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Miriam. This is a question for me, and I saw in the chat, and hopefully you can. I know you answer this, Ayush, but because Merced, there are two schools that are in the semester system from the UC. Because Merced is in the semester system, um, does the school take less number of courses, or do you guys, does Merced still have the same content as other UCs? Is the syllabus the same, or does it differ?
Um, the syllabus for the core classes will pretty much match well with other UCs because those are standard classes, like I mentioned, circuit theory, signal processing, control systems. Those are some of the core electrical engineering classes, and you'll see the same type of material being taught at every, not just UC, but all around the world, in fact. But then there are some unique things or some new things, some different things that are also happening that are contextual. So I already shared some examples. Something that we have been trying really hard to do is to have a hands-on aspect in every semester of the EE program, especially for the first 2 years, because that's where the students are transitioning into college and learning how to be a college student and things like that. So in all four of the electrical engineering courses, in all 4 semesters of the first 2 years, we have a course designed so that there are hands-on components in there. And a particular example that I'd like to share there will be the programming course. So the intro programming in every UC and every other place, pretty much, you will have a course where you will learn how to program in a computer programming language like Python or MATLAB. So we also have that course. But then we saw an opportunity, and computer programming is something that a lot of people are scared by. So what we did was we introduced hands-on aspects in that programming course. Their students are not just writing computer programs, but then they're verifying what they are writing in computer by building a circuit. That's a simple circuit, but at least that gives them a hands-on picture, a real thing to look at, while the computer is also giving them something. And so if they see the same thing, then they know that what they've done in the computer program, it matches up with the actual real thing. So you will not find that specific syllabus material other places, because that's the innovation that we've come up with in our education. And so we're constantly innovating our curriculum. And this is also an opportune moment to mention plug that recently we were awarded a 1 million grant by the National Science Foundation and just to the EE program to innovate our pedagogical approach and to redesign our curriculum. And so through that program, we will continue to do these types of things more and evolve and innovate our curriculum, and that will make us stand out. So that's why it will be different. But in terms of like the standard things that need to be covered, we are still covering all of that.
Wow, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome, Ayush. This is a question for the student panel. How is the workload and how have you balanced the workload with your lives? And also, this is an off-topic question. When are the electrical engineering courses offered? Is it morning, or is it afternoon, or is it at night? We can have a Miriam take this one first.
So, I mean, I do have a very heavy workload just because I'm doing a lot of things. I think time management is my favorite, is the best way, and my Google Calendar. My Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar will help you with that time management. I think because the majority of my friends are also EE majors, so we all hang out. So I do have a social life, even though it may seem, or the stereotype might be that you don't socialize, but you can socialize like through clubs and things like that. I mean, I'm taking 2 upper division classes in a lower division. So the workload for upper divisions is a little heavy just because, you have your assignments, but you also have labs. For research is also heavy because it involves a lot of reading and it involves a lot of understanding what you're reading, then be able to create a plan and then applying. So overall, I would say my Google Calendar helps me manage my time.
Thank you, Miriam. Raul?
Yeah, I would say there is a course load, but it's not unbearable. The main thing I would say is keeping a consistent schedule, just making sure you allocate time outside of class to study. Um, I really love our library on campus. It's very big. There's a lot of places there to have like a collaborative work. Different floors for like second floor is usually like where a lot of groups hang out and work, and I like to go there often and work there outside of class, and that makes my workload very manageable. I do a lot of things outside of class, especially this semester. I'm part of a club, working, doing research. So I would say it's very manageable.
Awesome, thank you. We do have a couple of minutes, folks, so keep getting those questions in. Um, let me see here. So, okay, here's another question for the student panel. Are you guys allowed to choose your subjects, or are they optional? I mean, I know there's like that core engineering. courses that you have to take. But are there for you, or is there a chance for you to take like a elective or whatnot?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So, um, sorry, I forgot to answer how our classes look. So, touching on that real quick. So, how Ayush was saying that our program is pretty small, so all the courses are really selective, and so it's throughout the day, and none of the classes interfere with each other. And I would say normal like time the classes are is like from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but with gaps in between, obviously. And then going back to choosing the classes. So the way our program works is we have, I think, um, 20 units, no, a little more, a few classes of core, and then we get to choose from a lot of electives. And those electives just aren't EE. They also include electives from CS and mechanical engineering, and we get to choose three that aren't related to our EE major, and the rest we choose EE courses. So those electives are where you get to choose what you want to specialize in, what you want to learn. So there is a lot of variety in the EE courses.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and to add on, there's also material science courses, which those are nice if you're into like device fabrication. I'm pretty interested in taking this class, but there is a prerequisite of engineering 45. So it depends. But like Raul said, there is a lot of variety depending on what you want to do. And because of the emphasis, because there's multiple emphases, there's some of those emphasis also count as like your electives, some classes.
Awesome, thank you. So Ayush, it's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna let you finish typing up this last answer. And remember, folks, this will be recorded. So while Ayush is typing that last answer, this is a question for Miriam. What is the woman to male ratio for electrical engineering at UC Merced?
Well, us engineering majors, there's only four of us. So it is, we're a really small group, but I will say that everyone is friends with each other, so it's really nice. I don't personally feel intimidated or I don't feel uncomfortable just because I've known these people since my first year. I met them in EO1, then EO 21, sorry, which is intro to coding. So you keep seeing them, and even though it's a small ratio, they're really nice. I mean, I've never had any issues. So I think overall, it's just a really good community. So you shouldn't really worry too much, even if it's a small percentage.
I'm going to switch this question to Raul. So, what do you think about your women engineering peers? You think they're able to hold their own in their courses?
Yeah, of course. Like Miriam was talking about beforehand, we have a Discord, and especially near the end of the semester, it's not just like groups of people, it's like half the class showing up to study. And I study with Miriam and some other female women students, and they hold their own. They're kicking butt too. So I would say that there is a bit of a discrepancy in men and women. I mean, that's how engineering is, but there's still support for everyone.
So you would say it's not because it's not lack of interest, right? I mean, there's opportunities. You would say.
For sure, there's opportunities.
I just want to add that it's something that electrical engineering is infamous for all across the globe. But I am personally very invested in making sure that we attract more women into the program. And the NSF grant that I mentioned earlier, that will be one of the things that we will be looking at to optimize the program so that we are more friendly to everyone. Because another question in there that I answered in chat was, is E really hard as people say it to be? And I will not lie, it is hard. And that's part of the reason why and I'm not just talking about I guess, particular ethnicity or any particular race, gender. It's just across the board. When I was a student, I found it really hard. My grades were like not great at all. So E is hard, but we are trying our best to design the courses, design the curriculum in such a way that it is not, it's less hard. And the NSF program will help us do that for the next 5 years. So really exciting things coming up for EE at UC Merced.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank you everybody for showing up. Ayush, I know students are going to have a lot of questions and you want to answer those questions. Do you want to provide the students your email that way they can email you directly if they have any questions, or is there like a chat that you would prefer for them to answer questions? What do you suggest?
I am happy to receive emails. My email is publicly available. If you just search my name and UC Merced, you will see a link that will take you to my profile page, and you'll see my email over there. I'm happy to type it out here. Our department chair, she's very invested in the program as well. And that's one of the great things to have because uh, this program is her baby. It's something that she has launched. When she came to UC Merced, E did not exist, and she has made all the effort to launch this program. So she's very invested in the growth of the program. So she'd also be happy to receive your emails and answer those emails if you have any questions. But yeah, feel free to send those questions to me too. I'm always happy to receive emails from anyone. And so where do I type it though?
You can type it. I would you would
Oh,
I mean can yeah, if you can type it out, you can just say it out loud, like pretty slow.
I just typed it out.
Oh, you just typed it for everybody. Okay. Awesome.
Wait,
So
no,
you
that was for, I didn't type it out for everyone. So this is the link that I was talking about earlier, and this is my email. I couldn't find the chat. I was looking at the question and answer chat. But yeah, now both of those things are in there.
hold up a second. Okay, so it's now to everyone. You send it to everyone?
I sent it to everyone now. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Well, once again, thank you everybody for coming. Raul, Miriam, thank you for your time. I know you guys are busy and you guys have a lot of things you guys got going on, but where can they find the video again, Ayush? The recorded video?
On YouTube, I believe it will be
Okay, so
posted.
on the YouTube Merced webpage, yeah. So marketing's going to take a look at the video, and they'll do some editing, and then it'll be on our YouTube page in the next couple of days. So once again, thank you so much, everybody. You guys have a good night, and go Bobcats.
Hey, thank you, everyone.
Bye, folks.